Please adjust the slider until the computer is barely visible. Oh, I thought I was just adjusting the computer itself for a second there. Please adjust the slider into the dog and the cat. Oh, best of friends. Please adjust the slider until the 5 becomes the number 9. Oh, you got. I got. We got. Wait. Please adjust the slider until you stop adjusting the slider. Which of the 2 made up words below is the most appealing to you? Octoboinkle or scrumptush? I'll go scrumptush slightly. Please don't adjust the slider. Do you know what time it is right now? Yes, I do. Is the time that it is right now the correct time? Yes? What time is it anyway? No. Is there anything about yourself that you haven't told me? Yes, pretty much everything. Help. No. Will you come back to visit me? Yes.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
I just want to see there's the balloons.
Stanley worked.
Okay. We didn't need all that. All right.
All of his
co-workers
co-workers
are
were
gone. What could it mean?
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Figurine
Perhaps he
Finder
simply
Committee
missed a
meeting
memo.
today in the meeting room. Take my bucket.
Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him.
Ah. Let's go, bucket.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
You know what? Me and the bucket want to go bright today.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room.
Me and the bucket know it well.
Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
Exactly.
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was.
I believe it is.
How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
What a great bucket. I was kind of hoping that there would be a figure in here, but there's not.
Truly, being here with the bucket was a grand adventure.
Oh, of course it is.
Stanley reflected on all they'd been through together. First, walking through the door on the right. Then walking to the lounge. Then arriving at the lounge. What a thrilling journey the bucket had inspired.
It inspires a lot in me. I must admit.
Perhaps this was where the bucket felt most truly at home. Here in the employee lounge. Perhaps it's the only place a bucket can even feel at home.
Broom closet, possibly. But we wouldn't let it go there. He said that the bucket is our property.
Stanley decided to just give the bucket absolutely as much time as it needed to be in the lounge. Clearly, the bucket and the employee lounge shared a special connection.
An incredibly special one. The narrator is not getting us fed up with me. This is the power of the bucket.
But finally, the bucket was done being in the lounge, and they took the first open door on their left to get back to business.
Nope.
No,
said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
I wonder how this changes with the bucket.
But Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching.
I feel like that went a lot faster than the last time we threw ourselves off there.
All of his co-workers were gone.
What could it mean?
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket.
What a great bucket.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting
We
room.
know.
But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
Bucket's wrong than more than you
Stanley
think.
took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Stanley did no such thing.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go. Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him.
How do we
It
get
should
there?
have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Your train of thought didn't get broken there. Weird. You know what? Bucket's just gonna go along with me. I'm not following whatever the bucket says.
No, stop. Look there on the wall. You see, there's a sign right there. It says, "No buckets past this point."
Oh, that's discriminatory.
Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless...
What?
What if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket?
Ooh.
I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point.
What do you mean
Which,
about my behavior?
If that's true, well, my goodness. I think we have to do something about it.
What are we gonna do?
This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly.
This is discrimination.
So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket. Please, step in here for a moment.
No, I gotta follow the sign. Do not stand on the other side of this fence. In there is the other side of this fence. I understand that quite well. I'm gonna do it anyway. Is this a Ooh.
Now then,
I like this game.
I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket. Simple enough,
Yes.
right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is
A bucket is
or
your best friend.
not a bucket. Okay, let's begin.
A bucket is something that you like.
Item 1. Is this a bucket?
It is.
Incorrect.
What?
It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
What?
Item 2. Is this a bucket?
No.
Correct. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
Wouldn't that actually still be a bucket though? I don't get this. Bucket? Are you a bucket?
Item 3. Is this a bucket?
This is also not a bucket.
Incorrect.
What?
This is a bucket.
Bucket? I don't know you that well, do I?
Item 4. Is this a bucket?
Oh, definitely.
What? Are you hallucinating? This is a tractor.
It's
an
sexy.
enormous machine that tills the earth. I thought this was a gimmick. How on earth did you manage to screw it up? Absolutely incredible. Let's just move on to the next one.
No, you can have the wheels move, right?
Is this a bucket?
No. What?
Incorrect. This is a bucket.
I don't know anything anymore. What else could you
Item 6. Is this a bucket?
No.
Trick question. Both.
Huh?
Gotcha.
Huh? Can I get a better look at it?
Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere.
But... Yes.
Okay. You and I both know there isn't anything here.
What are you talking about? There's
and
a bucket right there.
I don't appreciate the implication that nothing is a bucket when we both clearly know that a bucket is something, and therefore nothing could possibly be something. Unless, in your twisted mind, have you somehow convinced yourself that a bucket is nothing?
No.
Answer me straight, Stanley. Do you believe that nothing is a bucket?
No. I'm holding bucket.
You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out.
Welcome to my world.
I've lost all sense of perspective.
Same.
What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago, I could answer these questions with confidence.
So we can go through that door with
somewhat
bucket?
adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket?
No.
Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that.
No. You are not taking my bucket away from me.
Erase all buckets from
No.
the game
No.
entirely.
No. Don't you dare.
Okay.
No.
Here we go.
Don't you dare take away my bucket.
What happened? Is everything gone? Why did everything disappear?
Everything was a bucket,
was
genius.
everything a bucket? Every single thing in the game was a bucket?
Yes.
Oh my God, I had no idea.
Obviously.
How could... Except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not...
Can I have my skip button back?
Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue. But it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what. I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay?
Okay.
And we'll know that it's all a bucket.
Yes.
But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person? All right, here we go. All of his co-workers were gone.
We're here.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Warmth spread through Stanley's arms.
I'm so
With
glad
the
to have you
bucket
back,
in his
Bucket.
arms again, he was home. Stanley took the door on his left to go back, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Nope.
Oh, good, Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually.
Whoa. Broom closet.
You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much.
I thought the baby
It's
got
this
older.
bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before.
Don't you dare take away my bucket.
I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it.
Okay.
Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line?
No.
We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it.
Only if it leads us to a collectible trophy.
Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh,
Wait.
and it played some silly music as well. Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about.
Is
Don't
it?
you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue? Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Wait, what?
Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
Like what? Not the bucket. The bucket stays with me.
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket.
No.
That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer. I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree? Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does?
No.
Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
I'm not getting rid of this bucket.
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket.
No.
I don't know what the bucket destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait.
Well, it's going to destroy everything.
I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the bucket destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about?
The bucket!
Broom closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of bucket destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the bucket destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it.
No.
We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the bucket destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now. The fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want.
No, I'm
Hurry
keeping the
and-
bucket.
The bucket destroyer. My prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
True friends don't try to get between true friends. You try to get between me and the bucket. I can't ever trust you again, narrator.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
I'm gonna go get my
Stanley
bucket
decided
again.
to go to the meeting room. Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around.
That's right.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Here we go. I can get the collectible. This does not obey physics. You know, who cares? Collectible.
Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlurines and Figlies. What do you think, Stanley? What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by one?
Give me a slider.
I'm sure it will come to me.
I'll tell you what I think if you give me a slider for it. Is there a safe way down from here? Doesn't really look like it. Well, that being the case, slightly fragile. Okay. And in the vent we go. Whoa, where are we? Bucket, do you know where we are? I have no clue where we are. I haven't been here before, not even before I had a bucket. What's with all these tapes? Hello? Narrator?
Okay, this is day number 295, tape number... I don't even know. I've lost track. Nothing feels real anymore. The longer I study this bucket, the less sense anything makes.
What's wrong?
The sheer euphoria I feel every time I pick it up. No matter how many times I've done it, it's always the same feeling.
Isn't it great?
And the emptiness in my chest when I set it down.
Someone understands.
It doesn't make sense. There's no explanation for it. I still haven't figured out why I see the world so differently when this bucket is in my arms.
Called love.
Why everything feels so... What do I do with this treasure?
Never let it go.
I can monetize it.
No.
Yes.
No.
It's unthinkable the amounts of money people will pay for even just an hour with the bucket.
No.
This is my golden ticket. But I have to be careful, because as soon as this gets out, there's going to be a target on my back. Even now, I don't know who might be trying to get... What's that? Who's there?
It's revenge at the bucket. Whoa.
Just a step through this door, Stanley thought to himself. That's all I need. If I can make it through this door, I can make it through them all.
Why is there paper all over the floors?
The good old bucket. Just Stanley and the bucket, off on another thrilling adventure together.
How many trees were killed in order to cover this floor? Oh, it stops here.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
No, let's do it this time. Whoa. Warehouse access plan. Reduce one plank to allow use of access past fence. Construct bridge to allow connection to shiny float. Retrieve Chris's remains from warehouse. Chris died trying to get collectible? Construct new structurally sound bridge. Oh, Chris died. Stairs, something to do with the stairs. Somewhere both red and blue. There will be a reward for finding them. I want to go home. I want them so much. Stop kidding yourselves. There will be cleaning of this wall required. Who are you? 666 LOL lies! Trust the completionist instinct. Yes. Completionist instinct. The stairs.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
No, we did not. Yes!
You're getting close now,
I just
Stanley.
need one more.
You've nearly gotten all of the Stanlurines. Very soon, you'll collect the last one. And
Is
then
that your
the
decision?
first
That
number
name?
will equal the second number, and that will be it. We'll be different people by then. Different in the sense that we used to have none of them. And now we have them all. You can't go back to when you had no Stanlurines. None of us can.
Well then, now I just need to come to a red and blue door.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong.
No.
What sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. Now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd.
Where's my bucket?
Now he felt himself floating off the ground.
Where's my bucket?
Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it.
Where's my
Far
bucket?
off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley!
Bucket?
It's me! The bucket!
Where are you?
Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Come to me, Stanley! Find me!
Bucket!
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out. This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
I know this part.
Mariella woke
Wait.
up on a day like any other. She arose,
Are we gonna die with the
got
bucket?
dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security,
Ah.
and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket.
Oh, you didn't.
Of course, he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him.
I had my
Perhaps he
bucket.
didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
What? This is so dumb. It's great. Oh, man. Oh, man.
All of his co-workers were gone.
What could it mean?
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had... Where are we going today? The bucket asked.
To the meeting room.
Just smiled. Anywhere they went together would be perfectly... Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
So, yes. Where is the last one? Somewhere both red and blue. Crap, I can't get it in this life. Oh, wait. Didn't I go to the right place when I dropped
Coming
down?
to the
before?
staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Nothing to be said about that. What about... Let's ride the elevator with our bucket. We didn't go anywhere again, do we? No, this elevator is busted! Just get on it and it just shakes.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into... But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along?
The
Was
bucket knows all.
guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation. the elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
Cool.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it,
We want
the
to
truth
escape.
was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death.
Oh well. That's just the chances we're gonna have to
The
take.
door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
I bet we did.
At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
Should we drop down, bucket? There we go. Ow. Ah, here we go again.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be.
No, I didn't.
To be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket. But what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself.
There's
He
kind
sort
of a point
kicked
there.
himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end, as it was crushed violently to death.
What about Stanley? Is there anywhere else that we can go?
It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
The bucket welcomes you to the grand exhibit. You are standing at the precipice of knowledge. Much like a bucket itself, the human mind is frequently empty within, a cavernous void. But through use of the exhibit in front of you, the mind becomes full and enriched and substantiated. Knowledge of the bucket and its history is the only true knowledge we really have. Will you take what you learn here out with you into the world? Will you accept with an open mind what may be challenging about the information in this exhibit? Will you change the lives of yourself and your loved ones as a result of this exhibit? Or will you turn a blind eye and continue to live as you were, in ignorance and darkness? Please.
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
No, come back. Come back. Please. I think it just stopped up there. 25 bucks. That is a lot more than 25 buckets. A photograph of 25 buckets, the greatest number of buckets ever captured on camera. The photographer experienced catonic shock for several weeks as a result of the euphoria from exposure to this many buckets at once. This is way more than 25 of them. Oh. A bucket with 2 handles. This bucket was depicted as having 2 handles. Such a design has never been created in real life. having been deemed too dangerous and recklessly experimental. Every year, dozens are put to death just for attempting it. This was definitely done by Leonardo da Vinci. After he did the graph for the human body, he understood the importance of buckets. What else is in this exhibit? Inferno Bucket. A replica of the Inferno Bucket, which in the medieval era was so powerfully alluring that it drove dozens of nations to war with one another for control of it. Billions died. And yet, in spite of it all, the simple fact remains: no one can control a bucket. It's made out of wood. Which way do we go now? The stress bucket, an analogy. Worrying, negative forecasting, negative thinking, lack of reassurance. Vulnerability equals size of and strength of the bucket. Coping strategies. Holes. Rest and relaxation. Doing something you enjoy. Rest and relaxation. Stress equals the level of water in the bucket. The stress bucket. Presented without commentary. I can see that. Cave drawings of the bucket. I'm down with the musical choice. While we know the buckets predate the existence of mankind, we do not know by how long. This cave drawing depicts early man's discovery of the practical uses of the bucket, by which time the bucket had already likely been around for several millennia. Notice in these drawings how the bucket is allowing itself to be used, having judged humanity to be worthy of its treasures. The worshipping of the bucket. The bucket collecting water from a crack. A man carrying the bucket. Animals drinking from the bucket. Oh, look at these regal curtains.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
The hanging bucket. This piece symbolizes the necessary relationship between bucket and humanity. However clear our grasp of the bucket may be, there is yet more that is always out of reach. This distance, inevitably, is for our own good. I need the bucket!
But there is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I,
What
that
is
will
it?
right this terrible wrong.
What is it?
Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader, as commander of a new world, a new vision.
Yeah, let it kill me this time. Always changed.
A good bucket, a strong bucket, a humble bucket, a committed bucket. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was.
I need to get the
bucket turned out
last
to be
collectible.
correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Good,
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Red and blue door should be this way. Even if you stop me saying no buckets allowed.
No, stop! Look there on the wall, you see? There's a sign right there. It says, no buckets past this point. Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless, what if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what
We're going to
isn't
fast
a
forward to the
bucket?
quiz.
Item 1. Is this a bucket?
No.
Correct. It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket. Item 2. Is this a bucket?
No. This is a 3D print of a bucket.
Correct. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket. Item 3. Is this a bucket?
This actually is in fact a bucket.
Correct. This is a bucket. Item 4. Is this a bucket?
No, this is a tractor.
Correct. This is a tractor and not a bucket. To be honest, I just sort of put this one in here as a gimme, but I was starting to get concerned that even this might be too much for you. Thank you for not making me look like an idiot. Okay, next one. Is this a bucket?
Now this one actually is a bucket.
Correct. This is a bucket.
Mm-hmm.
Item 6. Is this a bucket?
This one's a trick question.
Trick question. Both. Gotcha. Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere.
Let's wait for a minute. Guess we just gotta pick.
Yes. Thank you. There's nothing here. Of course it isn't a bucket. We both know full well that nothing isn't a bucket. Wait, when I say nothing isn't a bucket, that makes it sound like I'm saying everything is a bucket, which of course is not true. Unless... Is that what you think? Answer me straight, Stanley. Are you trying to tell me that you believe everything is a bucket?
No. I'm not.
You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective.
Oh, no.
What is a bucket? What isn't
There
a
isn't a
bucket?
difference, is
Mere
there?
moments ago, I could answer these questions with confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket? Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with.
You're not a bucket.
I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely. Okay, here we go.
Wait, no. Alright, well, doing the quiz again lets you the exact same ending.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Okay.
Now pick up the phone.
Said the bucket.
Pick up the phone and it will take us back home, where we can go about life together.
Whoa, hold on. Why did you unplug the phone?
Because I know
Were
this
you
trick.
trying to resist the bucket's orders? Stanley, I was joking. Obviously, the bucket isn't talking to you and telling you to do things. Buckets can't talk. It was a joke. Don't you get the joke? It's funny, Stanley. A talking bucket. Can't you see? Oh, goodness. I must have really bungled up the delivery if you actually took me seriously. Where did I mess up the joke? Should I have paused for longer or spoken quicker? Comedic timing is so difficult. I wish I were better at it. But there isn't exactly an instructional video on comedy that one can watch to fully... Oh, wait, yes, there is. It's sitting right here. Let's take a look.
What is comedic timing?
Ah,
What is comedic timing? How does it work? How long should it last? How can it be used to effectively silence your political enemies?
what?
And more importantly, can it be taught in its entirety within 90 seconds?
Why not?
Thankfully, the answer to all of these questions is yes.
No.
Let's dive deeper. If you've ever told a joke or made someone laugh, in all likelihood, you did it while standing 50 to 80 centimeters from them in a room of no more than 76 degrees Fahrenheit, with one of your arms raised straight upward at a 15-degree angle from your body.
That's more than 15
These are
degrees.
the optimal conditions for good comedic timing. To begin the joke, start by stating and spelling your name. Next, provide a brief synopsis of the joke, including the specific times at which the recipient of the joke will laugh, and then spell out your name a second time.
Wait,
With
so you
these
explain the joke
steps
before you even
complete,
tell it?
It's time to begin the humor. Speak the entire joke in no more than 18 seconds and no less than 13 and a half, pausing only for bathroom breaks when necessary. When the joke has concluded, it is customary to inform your listener that the joke is over by declaring in your loudest possible voice, "I'm Dunny with the funny." Let's practice screaming, "I'm Dunny with the funny" now.
No. Nope. Not happening.
Good.
No.
This saying is a perfect example of expectations management, which is the cornerstone of good comedy. Finally, it's time to hand out surveys. Collecting hard data from your audience on how rapt they were throughout the joke is the only way to grow or learn as a comedian. An effective survey should be no less than 10 pages long and should include the same question reprinted several times, just to ensure the survey taker is actually paying attention and not simply filling in answers at random. And that's all there is. With these strategies at your disposal, you'll have audiences doubled over in laughter and even tripled over in laughter in no time at all. Just remember to let them stop laughing at some point, you gut-busting little scamp. After all, we're each of us needed on the front lines of the war to fight
Whoa.
the 12-legged invader who threaten our very existence and to very likely die in a hailstorm of bullets and mandibles. All of us must be prepared to give our lives to this noble cause, just as our children must do after us, and their children after them. Godspeed, and may Earth reign supreme.
What the heck just happened?
Hey, goodness, this video is a little outdated, isn't it? Well, no matter. I think the fundamentals of proper comedic timing are still as relevant today as they were back then. So with that in mind, I believe the only way forward is for us to return to the two doors and walk through all of this again, so I can try telling my story with more appropriate comedic delivery. Come along, let's head back.
I'm worried about you following that video. Oh, great. He put up the rails. Just what I needed.
I can feel it. This time, I'm really going to nail the delivery. You'll be in stitches. A talking bucket, you'll say? How ridiculous. How absurd. What a hilarious concept. The king of comedy. That's what you'll call me. Thank goodness we had the instructional video. Otherwise, who knows where we'd be right now. Well, I wouldn't be the king of comedy, that's for sure.
Yeah, you're not Dave Chappelle.
The bucket spoke to Stanley.
The bucket spoke.
The bucket spoke. Oh, I'll figure it out on the fly. No need to overthink things.
Wait. Isn't that door supposed to be open? Are we really going back to the double doors? How do we get to the red and blue door at this point in the game? Hello?
Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of 2 open doors, they entered the door on the left.
No. Whoa.
What? We're back at the phone already? No. What's going on? There was
What is going
supposed
on?
to be several rooms leading up to this. There was supposed to be a build-up to this point. A dramatic
going on?
display of remarkable comedic wit which culminates in this scene with the phone. But now the timing's completely off. The joke will never land. Well, not the way it was meant to. And it's all my fault. I must have forgotten that the phone room comes immediately after the 2 doors.
No. Something's
What an
wrong.
egregious mistake. I've made a fool of myself. I don't deserve the title of King of Comedy. I'm nothing.
That's true.
I'm not even the lowliest joke-telling whelp. I think I need to go back and rewatch that instructional video again.
Do it without me.
Yes, surely that will help me improve my... Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of 2 open doors, they entered the door on the left.
Again?
What? We're back at the phone already? No.
Okay, it's gonna do the whole reset thing. Like
Here we
before.
go.
Alright, we'll go to the left.
When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of 2 open doors, they entered the door on the left. No. You were supposed to go through the door on the right, leading back to the phone.
Wait,
Did you
what?
not even look at the instructional video?
What?
I think this was all covered very clearly.
No, it was
There's
not.
no way I can make the comedic timing work now. It's done. The joke is completely done and
That's
over. It's
exactly wrong.
all your fault, Stanley.
Well,
I'm
sorry.
going to be ridiculed in the community of other joke writers. I'm going to be shamed at every one of our meetings from now on. All because you couldn't watch a simple video and take a hint. Are
Sorry.
you proud of yourself for bringing me down, Stanley? Are you proud?
Stanley, you love the bucket so much it's like you... it's as though all of your other most prized possessions pale in comparison. Yes. Well, let me try that again, Stanley. I heard that you are pale with shame over how unabashedly in love with a bucket you are.
No.
Is it the delivery? Pale with shame. Pale with shame? Pale... What's another word to describe a bucket? Stanley, this bucket is so metal, I think I saw it playing guitar. No.
Oh, Lord.
Getting away from making fun of Stanley's
This
obsession
is
with the bucket, which was
the darkest
whole point of
timeline.
this. I'm no good at these jokes. I need more instructional videos. That's exactly what it is. That's what will make me the king of comedy again. More instructional videos. Let's see.
That was a travesty.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Going on without my bucket.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley
I need to go
knew
through that
perfectly
door that
well.
you can't have the bucket
Perhaps
for.
he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. And here it was, the lounge.
I feel so empty without my
But eager
bucket.
to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Surprised I'm not being, like, harassed by buckets now.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not.
This feels oddly
I
normal.
realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you... What? Really?
Really?
I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others?
I want to get my
Are you
last
that
collectible.
Convinced that I want something bad to happen to you?
Yeah.
Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
Shut up.
And there it is. The last Stiggly Wiggly. Savor this moment, Stanley. This is a real accomplishment. This is doing something just for the sake of doing it. Where so many people expect to be rewarded for the most trivial achievements, you've insisted that a job well done is its own reward. I would tell you that I'm proud of you for collecting them all, but that would be like a reward, and we can't have that. So, instead I'll just say, it's done. We're all done here. And now we can go to whatever the hell you were doing before you hunted for figurines. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked... All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen?
I wonder if there's going to be anything different.
Stop you. You see? There's nothing
nope,
here.
I might just skip this if that's the case.
Building. Yes. Oh, goodness, that really does feel amazing, doesn't it? Stanley, I'm like a child in a confectionery shop. I simply have to have more. I'm insatiable. More.
I never went this far before. Whoa. This one's close to scoring itself. Let me help you. You seem to be struggling a little bit, ball. And is there something for actually getting all the balls in?
This, Stanley? Are you having fun?
Kinda.
Is this a real video game? Well, I sure hope you're having a good time, because guess what? It's over.
What?
That's right. Your little fun comes to an end.
No.
This is my game, and what I say goes.
Dude.
You get to have fun when I let you, Stanley.
Whoa.
Besides, you need someone like me to set boundaries
I don't.
for you. Without rules or boundaries, video games are nothing. Yes, that's what I am. I'm structure. I'm your sense of purpose. And since you decided you didn't want to play my game, now I don't want to play with you either. So, goodbye, Stanley.
Why?
I'm leaving. See how you like it when I'm not around to set the rules. Somehow, I don't think you'll enjoy it as much. But who knows?
We'll see.
You're an inventive kid. You'll come up with something. After all, you're the one who knows best.
Better than you, at least.
Take care, Stanley.
Goodbye, narrator. Oh no. Balloons are gone.
Stanley, I'm sorry, but I have to put a pause on things. It's those figurines.
What?
Those figglers.
What about them?
I haven't stopped thinking about them since you nabbed every last one.
Uh-huh.
Wasn't it just the most intrinsically fulfilling moment of your entire life?
It was pretty good.
Didn't it fill you to the brim with inner richness? Yes, I know we're supposed to be telling a story, but won't you please indulge me with one more trip back to the memory zone? I would love nothing more than to revisit the figurines.
We can do that.
One more time.
For the sake of the... whatever you call them. Oh, this is different.
Here's where it all began. The first collectible.
Mm-hmm.
Back then, we had no idea of how many of them we'd find. Sure, it said 6 right there on the screen, but how could we know for certain? We were so innocent. We'll never be like that again, Stanley.
You sure about that? I'm at 706. What's going on over here? The executive bathroom?
And here was a second Stanlurine. You found this one all on your own, just by poking around in the boss's bathroom.
Like a creep.
You did that, Stanley.
I did.
I'll be honest. Back then, I had no faith in you to find any of them.
Hey.
Let alone 6. But you continue to surprise me in all sorts of mundane, unremarkable ways.
Thanks. Jerk.
Okay, let's do a little quiz. Which of these rooms was the room you found your third mini Stan? Can you remember?
My third one was over here. I didn't get the one in the warehouse till a bit later.
Hey, That's exactly right. It was here, behind the boss's office. It was the third one. You picked it up, and then after that, you had 3 of them.
I did.
I'm glad these moments are so crystal clear in your memory, but I shouldn't be surprised. After all, science tells us that it's impossible to forget your 3rd time doing anything.
Is that a legitimate statement?
Let's see, what came next?
I don't remember
yes,
this one.
We found a Figly in this pink room. Oh, well, I can't actually say I remember being in this room, but it's here in the memory zone, so it must have happened.
It didn't, though. I'll take it, but yeah, that's not what happened. Alright, what's next? Is it the warehouse?
This was the 5th mini-Stan, and this one was really something special.
We're
It was
skipping the
under
warehouse.
Stairs. I remember it so clearly. In fact, because this one is particularly special to me, I made a little video to commemorate the occasion.
You did?
Enjoy.
Whoa. What's that down there? Oh, these effects. Oh, this is trash. Oh, I love it. I love it. It's so trash. We found it under the stairs. Thanks for watching. Best boy narrator, starring Stanley.
Takes you back, doesn't it?
Kind of.
I spent a lot of time.
Actually, it
making
takes
that
me way
video,
back.
But it was 8 minutes I wouldn't have spent on anything else.
Kind of proves that you only spent 8 minutes on it. What about the one in the warehouse? We didn't get one in the pink room. Oh, that's closed off anyway. So is this way? It's a maze. And to commemorate the last
And
one.
then, Stanley, then we came to the last collectible, the final figurine, right here by the red and blue doors.
Yes.
This memory is the most distinct and clear in my mind, perhaps because it was the one that happened more recently than all the others. Who can truly say how the mind works? All I know is that this is the moment where you picked up a Figly and I thought to myself, yes, that's all of them. They're all collected. It was a moment unlike any other. Except for the other moments picking up figurines, which it was exactly like.
Debatable. I now have double the amount that you find in the game. Blue door. You are in the present.
And then there was no more. Because we've caught up to the present moment. Nothing left to do but move onward into the future. Goodbye, memory zone.
What?
No, I'm not done. I'm not ready to move on.
Neither am I.
Stop the loading screen. Isn't there some way we can stay here, keep enjoying these figurines? Let's just go backwards. We'll do the memory zone again from the opposite direction. See how that feels.
Let's go through the red door.
Okay, yes, the room with the red and blue doors. I remember this. I must say, of all the figurines we looked at in our initial tour of the memory zone, this one is the most distinct and clear in my mind. Let's keep going. I want more.
Me too. Me too. We're not going to do the video again, are we?
Here's where I made that video. Don't you remember the video we watched?
I do remember it.
Yes, I love that video.
It was better the second time around. Give me it. And then we went back through here and somehow ended up in a pink room that we've never seen before.
Still don't remember the pink room, Stanley. Still no memory of this one.
Me either.
Good room, though. A solid room.
Yeah, I'm not complaining about it. It's just, it's not accurate. I wish that you could like escape the memory zone.
these really were a treat to hunt down. You know, if there had been any kind of reward for finding all of these, it really would have neutered the intrinsic joy of collecting them. I'm very glad we resisted the temptation. Next one.
How many Figlies are we gonna... Looks like this is just a dead end now. That's disappointing. Because that was the true fourth one. Not the pink room. Alright, into the bathroom.
This was our second Figley. Don't you remember?
I do.
Yes, I remember
I really
it
do.
too. The past is truly a wonderful thing. Why does anyone ever choose to leave it? Keep going. This is it. The very first one we found in the exhibit where I introduced you to the Figurines. Oh, I want more memories, Stanley. I want to keep going. What else is there? What came before this?
What did come before this? Whoa. This is the jump circle. This wasn't
Look,
here.
it's the terrible new content that we were originally sold on.
Uh-huh.
I remember
Yeah,
getting
that's
it
right.
back then. But time does put a rosy filter on everything. In fact, I dare say I'm actually quite... Oh, yes! The two doors! Who could have forgotten that? A classic memory, this one.
Into the door on the left. And then...
And before everything else, there was your office. Is there anything else?
No.
Was there something that came before your office?
Real
There's
life?
something I feel I can remember. I can remember. Yes, I'm remembering something now. I remember before this whole story got started. Back then I was different. I used to make big decisions. I was passionate. I was skeptical. I weighed each decision with profound thoughtfulness. And then somewhere along the way, I stopped making decisions. I became lazy. And I came up with a character named Stanley to do my thinking for me. He would make the decisions. He would decide which way to go. I would cheer him on as he collected figurines for no reason. Why did I invent Stanley? Was I lonely? Yes, perhaps that's it. Perhaps I needed to imagine I had companionship. And Stanley really did make for a wonderful companion, even if he was a fiction. But I suppose it's grown old. I want to think for myself again. I want to go back to how it used to be. Yes, I can be on my own again. I can do it. I'll be stronger this time. I'll take care of myself. I don't need Stanley anymore. Oh, but he truly was so much fun to play with. You know what? Since we're in the memory zone, how about one more good memory? Let's go back just once and give Stanley one more run of the office, and then I'll retire him for good. I did enjoy telling his story so very much. Okay, here we go. This is the story of a man named Stanley.
So I wrote it in the rhyme. The Reverend Doctor got an 8K, wet working. The roaches get the race spray. My weak rhyme, my body, your best verses on game day. I touch the crowns of self-entitled kings. You leave the heat like LeBron when I melt your idols' vital things. This is Malcolm and Martin, Million Man March in Sparta, mixed with a legion of angels surrounding sons and daughters. Simon Peter with a desert eagle, waving it at Caesars, or a